Life in the Philippines. So I'm going to tell you some things that happened to me this week, and it's stuff that I've talked about before, but it keeps happening over and over and over again. It's probably happened like 100 times. Filipinos have very, very strange behaviors. I was sitting with my friend talking for breakfast, and this happened a few days ago. It happened again a week ago. The women sitting at the next table put their dirty trays on my table. And I didn't notice, I'm sitting there talking to my friend, and then I turn over and I see all this stack of trays on my table. I was like, what's going on here? There were 5 people sitting at a table for 6, and they feel the need to put their trays on my table. And it include dirty dishes and things like that. And then I noticed one of the women picked up a tray. I'm like, lady, pick up all of them. And she walked away, and I was like, where's she going with a tray? She walked nearby the place where you put the dirty trays, and maybe actually she went further. And she came back with 5 cups of gravy. They don't have the gravy out early in the day. They bring it out like a little while after customers show up. So they order their food, and then after they eat, they got to go get the gravy. And then she put the empty tray on my table again. And I'm like, there's literally 4 empty tables behind you. All you got to do is turn the body around like this, take 2 or 3 steps, and put the trays on those empty tables. And she walked past the trash can where you put the empty trays. And if you go to the Philippines, a large food court, every table will have 3 meals worth of trays, meaning 3 customers sat there, and you have to sit with stacks of trays because people don't clean the tables. The people that clean, they look like they're going to take a year to finish clearing out all the trays. And I know part of it is because they use silverware, because they don't want to use plastic because it costs more. And they don't want people to throw it away, so they don't let you clear your own table. But they're so slow to clean everything up. All the tables are always full. So that happened. The other thing is, kids, especially boys, always begging for money. And it's a bad habit. You don't want to raise 10-year-olds to beg for money. You want to raise them that they're supposed to have some form of employment. I delivered newspapers, and I made $4 a week. When I was 12 years old, I was delivering the Penny Saver, and then when I was 14, I did the Syracuse newspaper, right? And I even had 2 routes. So they do that. It took me like 4 hours to do my newspaper route on a Sunday. Could only carry, the papers were so thick, could only carry 7 papers at a time. I had to do like 200 papers. So, 200 houses. So a lot of young people have tattoos. A lot of people have tattoos. They're ugly tattoos. Way too many people have tattoos. A lot of old people have tattoos, including old women. Way too many tattoos. Always wearing pajamas. They go barefoot in the restaurants all the time. I hate looking at people's feet. I hate it. My mother grew up on a farm. She never wore shoes in a poor country. Never owned shoes. And she never wore them. So she didn't wear them when she came to the United States. My father told me that in Italy, the government used to hand out free shoes to the kids because the parents would say kids can't go to school because they don't have shoes. Because it would be, she claimed, a 10-mile walk. I don't remember how far it was. I didn't measure the distance. But it was a decent distance, right? My father lived in the town. My father said the shoes weren't even as good as flip-flops. They were cheaper quality. He called them paper shoes or something like that. So not only are you constantly seeing their bare feet in fancy restaurants, the expensive restaurants, and they're curling their toes. There is a video where someone filmed two other Filipinos where they, under the table, took their toes and interlocked them together. It was a man and a woman, probably husband and wife, and you clearly see on the video that their toes are all interlocked like that. And it's just a weird behavior. You know who the foreigners are because we wear shoes, and the Filipinos, 90% of them wear flip-flops or shower shoes and their pajamas. Checking the time. So you see it every day, and I'm annoyed by it every day. And they'll put their bare feet up on the chairs and stuff like that. And they I don't know how to describe it, but when you see them relaxing with their feet up on a chair, bare feet, they look like they're drunk, like the way a drunk might look like sitting somewhere in the wrong place. I don't know the right word, but it looks weird. I don't like seeing it. So I did have more that I want to say. I see young people buying alcohol, and I look at them and say, there's no way this person is of drinking age. And I asked my friend, he said 21 years old. I'm like, this person looks like he's 13. And I see a lot of women drinking and a lot of men drinking, and they go out late at night on a Friday night. I know they do it on payday. That's the way it's done in other countries. And they go out and they get these tall bottles. And like one person's going to get drunk from those. And they're small people. I'm 5'6". They're all shorter than me. And they're getting drunk late at night. Very messy. Filipinos are messy. If a Filipino eats a little cracker, there's going to be cracker crumbs everywhere. They are messy. They're always spilling ice cream all over the seats. I had to clean up my seat today with a tissue, a used tissue, because they don't give you napkins. Because there was ice cream on the seat. And luckily the people next to me got up, and I had to trade the crumbs from the donut, the powdered donut. The other tables had powdered donut also, but I traded the powdered donut for the ice cream. I had my little section of the table. They're very, very messy people. I had a friend who was blind. Blind people eat with their fingers. They don't use fork and spoon. And anything like a burger is going to be a mess like a 3-year-old child. They eat like they're 3-year-olds. There's just always a mess everywhere. All over the floor, all over the tables, alcohol spilled all over the place. For some reason, they just can't eat without making a mess. And at the end of the night, you'll have tables with like 20 beers on it, and the garbage can is literally right next to the table. I sit at the table and I pick up my stuff and I put it right in the garbage can without getting up. And there's only 2 tables, and you could sit between the 2 tables and put your stuff on both tables. The garbage can is too far from them. There's garbage everywhere. They throw garbage on the ground. They don't care. You drive through any neighborhood, there's garbage everywhere. Piles of garbage bigger than you. The animals go through the garbage. Sometimes you see people going through garbage, but the wild animals, if they do put garbage in a bag, the wild animals rip it up, and the garbage is spread everywhere all the time. When I left Lapu-Lapu, they were putting in the large dumpsters. They were white wooden dumpsters, and I saw it said no recycling in Spanish. So I assumed they're going to start putting some of the garbage in. But like I said, they don't clean up the garbage. Even if it's in front of their house, they won't pick up garbage right in front of their house on their own lawn. When I lived in Danao, my neighborhood, I was like, there's garbage all over your front lawn. That's your grass. That's the wall. That's the window for your house. That's your door. That's your garbage. You're responsible for that. Your neighbors aren't going to pick up your garbage. So they don't pick up the garbage.